all of those. It says Babylon would be the queen among the nations in the last days. Babylon would be a great end-time nation. Babylon is called the lady and has the symbol of the lady. And we know this as the Statue of Liberty. It's also, not only is liberty on our money, but it sits in the New York Harbor. Babylon is a nation peeled or timbered, a land of open fields. So that is not right there, you negate the Vatican right there. Babylon is land quartered by mighty rivers. Is a land that is measured out and populated. She destroys her own land with pollution and waste. Babylon is the leading industrial nation of the world. Babylon has a huge aviation program. Babylon is a republic or a democracy. It is ruled by many councils. This is probably referring to either Congress or probably, the 50 states. Babylon's governmental system breaks down. Babylon is bogged down with deliberations and it cannot govern properly. Babylon's leaders use astrology, seers, and mystics for guidance. Babylon labored in the occult from her very inception. Babylon is a nation of religious confusion. The king of Babylon is called Lucifer, the Antichrist. And so for all those who were doubting all this past year that I kept warning that the President of the United States would be the Antichrist, right here's a passage that would confirm that the Antichrist will arise out of America. A world government entity will rise up to rule the world from Babylon the city. And, of course, we know that it's New York City. When John was referring to city in Revelation 17, what they normally referred to is referred to a nation by its greatest city. And so a lot of people say, well, this is New York City, and it is New York City being the chief city of the nation America. And we do know that the UN is located in New York City. It'd be a world government entity will rise up to rule the world from Babylon. So you've got the global New World Order rising up in the UN. This entity will rise up and use the military the military power of Babylon to rule the world. And we see that now as America trying to be the worldwide bully and dictator of every other nation out there, straining our forces, sending them out in over 100 nations right now, creating wars that were unnecessary to begin with. Just any excuse they can.
Sherry?
Yeah.
You have Tito on the phone when you're ready.
Tito, hey, put him on.
You're up, Tito.
What's up, Sherry?
Hey, Tito, how you doing?
Pretty good. I'm pretty sick, actually. It's snowing, and,
You got snow?
Yeah, man, it snows and it stops and it snows and then...
Yeah, you guys can keep it out there. It's supposed to hit us next month pretty hard.
Yeah. And I don't even have snow tires, so... Dang.
Stay home.
Yeah, but I was going to ask you about the, all these natural disasters around the world right now.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like something coming towards Earth? Because the reason I ask you that is because NASA recently launched a rocket to hit a rock, and supposedly it's going to take pictures of the inside of the rock, which I think is baloney.
Well, yeah, everyone's saying that it was launched to actually try to come on the path of Planet X.
Oh, man.
To stop Planet X.
Yeah.
Because NASA's never going to tell you the truth. I've unveiled that for 2 or 3 years now. Every time they say something, I would go look in the Bible codes, and there's always something else going on than what they're revealing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we've got a couple things going on that, are just going to take people by surprise. The Lord himself has said, watch for the signs in the skies. I got pictures the other day, about 5 of them, from a guy in Canada that was showing two suns in the sky.
Oh, yeah.
And he says he's coming closer to the earth. He said tonight, the word he gave me, I am coming closer to the earth.
Oh, man.
And so I do believe that I heard a prophecy last year that he was coming up from behind the sun.
Yeah, lots of things.
So on top of Planet X coming, we've got the Lord coming up from behind the sun, and we've got this blue star thing in the south.
Yeah, man, there's just all of a sudden, ever since the tsunami hit, all these natural disasters are just sweeping.
Yeah, well, he says, the earth is it's having birth pains. It's in travail.
And, should we expect a polar shift soon?
Well, you know what? I've been telling people, if you live on islands, get off of them, get to mainlands.
Yeah.
If you live on mainlands, get away from the coast.
Yeah.
Go where the Lord leads you. Look for the mountains, high places.
It's snowing in the mountains.
Yeah, I live by the Great Lakes, and I didn't even feel safe living 30 miles out from them. I went farther out.
Yeah.
Near any kind of water that a comet could hit the Great Lakes and take out, 40 miles around all the way through Ohio and Michigan there, and millions of lives would be lost in a second.
Yeah, that's true.
And, just all these coastlines, we know, the West Coast has just been shaking, rattling, and rolling for the last umpteen months.
Man. Well, and what do you think, like in Revelation, the book of Revelation, it talks about wormwood. Do you think that's a comet or a missile?
I think it's a comet or an asteroid.
Okay.
One of the two.
Yeah, because there's so many, different answers, I get from people. So.
Yeah, people say it's Chernobyl in Russia because Chernobyl means wormwood.
Yeah.
But that's, whatever. I think it's something
I heard it meant something like bitter or something like that.
Yeah, it's supposed to, in the judgments, if you read the bowl and the trumpet judgments where the water becomes bitter, and you can't drink it, it's undrinkable. I think it has something to do with those judgments, just making all the water of the world poison, because that's what wormwood is. It's bitter, it's poison.
Yeah.
And I think whenever it hits, that's what's going to happen. We know there's comets coming. And it's, they're floating around up there, and God can hurl one at us with his pinky when he wants to. So, we're under judgment, and we deserve it. We've all, this nation has turned its back on God. This entire world has turned its back on God. They want to do things their own way, and they don't seek him, and so his judgment's coming.
Oh, yeah, sooner than we think. I mean, I think things are actually, they're speeding up, man, Yeah, well, he said, tell them that when it starts, it's like a flood. It's going to happen all at once. Oh, yeah.
Because everybody seems to think this stuff's going to take period over a long time. We're all going to know exactly what's happening when.
Yeah.
But you ask one person today, are we in the tribulation period? Nobody knows.
Yeah, nobody.
Because they're all waiting for something, that set signal, that treaty to be signed, or that could have been the one in 93.
Yeah.
The Oslo Accords.
I'm actually waiting to see that one guy. What's his name? Maitreya? Maitreya, there you go. Yeah, I've seen pictures of that guy, and he looks like, I don't know, he looks pretty freaky to me.
Yeah, but when he shows up, and he does a television interview, and I've been warning everybody not to watch him on TV.
Yeah.
Because he's got great hypnotic powers. Going to put a lot of people under his hypnotic powers. He's, just dumb them down, hypnotize them. And Christians are not to be watching this stuff. It'll be amazing when he comes, because then you really know that the time is just so short, it's ticking.
Yeah, it'll be crazy.
Because I think he's going to come, he's going to claim he's Jesus, preparing the way for his Father.
Yeah.
Which is the Antichrist. Because I kept thinking that maybe there's going to be a fake one coming before the real one, because it just things that make sense, until I realized he's going to be Jesus.
Well, Lucifer does try to mimic everything Jesus does, so maybe, there will be a rapture, like an alien, like aliens taking people away.
Well, they do have a plan, the Blue Beam Project, not only about bringing him in with this Hollywood theatrical production, but also of taking about 100,000 people off the earth with these UFOs.
Jeez.
And so I've heard that's why they're chipping people, so they know which ones they can take.
Wow.
So you know what? I've got an article on my site, 666, no, it's not that one. It's the other one. Satan's rapture. Is he going to create his own fake rapture?
Yeah.
And talk about it a little bit in that, but it's hard to say if he's going to pull that one or not. He has so many different avenues that he has started over the years to bring him to power. He'll use whichever one will get him here.
Jeez, man. And it's hard to believe, like the Masons are all behind this, aren't they?
Yeah, the Masons have been behind it from the beginning.
Yeah,
of course, all the secret societies and the occults now have been taken over by Satan, the god that they've worshipped. They've all been in contact with these aliens, and they've all, and the Lord has told me they've all been possessed by them by now.
Yeah.
They've all been possessed by them, which is why you'll see people shape-shifting or these hybrids. I got an email the other day from somebody seeing people spitting out their tongues all the time.
Oh, wow.
And I write her back and ask her what state she's in. I'm half believing she's going to say Oregon.
Oh. Oregon? That's where I'm at, man.
You're in Oregon?
Yeah.
Because that's a very heavy populated place.